Hello? Okay, very good. Um, Give me a moment and we get there. Let's see. Okay. Uh, okay, what is online on page 110?
I can't tell, actually.
Okay, let's see.
You have to start at 266.
Can you give me can you
I don't
repeat the
have the
word?
lines in the book, so it doesn't help when you say. You just read the line, be the best.
Oh. The greatness still abides held back within.
The this greatness still abides. Very good. I've got it, and we are ready to go. Let's concentrate for a moment, and we can begin. We have seen what is happening in these past weeks. And we know that the secret of our birth can be found here on earth. What we are there, we are already perfect there. But when we've taken this leap, I would say this plunge down to earth, it is imaged, it is mirrored or reflected in a contact and a call. Now, Sri Aurobindo is very clear about this call that if it comes to us, it is decisive. But we have to be certain that it's coming to us. If it comes from some other force, some dark influence, asuric being, or whatever, it can mislead us. But the call of God is imperative. And we don't see our real self until we answer that call and begin to be transformed. So he says, as we're still in this process of transformation, that greatness still abides, held back within. This is a very interesting line for me because when I was very young, I had so many experiences with Sri Aurobindo and Mother. But that greatness is still held back within because I have not progressed far enough to have it brought out fully through the psychic being. So he continues, Earth's doubting future hides our heritage. But we know what our heritage is. It's something inherited at birth. and in this case, even before birth. So this doubting future of the earth hides our heritage. We are seeing these days extraordinary changes on the earth. Floods in virtually every country, huge floods. 42 degrees centigrade in France, unheard of. And what is happening, we would ask? Well, the supermental is at work, of course. And I've heard from some people that the earth is going through this upheaval because eventually the climate is going to level out and the very cold climates will become warmer and the very hot climates will become cooler. We're not seeing that yet. We are seeing this unique manifestation of the earth with its floods and its intense heat now. So Earth has a doubting future. It's not sure that this is going to happen, this transformation. But there's a colon after the word heritage. And therefore, Sri Aurobindo wants us to know the light, now distant, shall grow native here. Well, that's all the inspiration we can hope for. That's the greatest inspiration of all times. And I've read to you before what Sri Aurobindo has written on light and what Mother had written to Dmitri von Mohrenschildt. If anyone would like it again, I can read it again. But that light that is now distant, well, now this was written, of course, before 1950. So we are talking of many, many years since 1950. 70 years, in fact, 72 years. So that light is no longer distant. And it is growing. And it is growing natively here, very slowly up from the earth. When Mother broke that golden door with the hammer, it flooded the earth, the actual physical earth, and it is growing in that earth very steadily, very astutely, and we will see the results in many of our lives, either this one or the ones to come. So the strength that visits us, he says, will become our comrade power. The strength that visits us, our comrade power. The ineffable shall find a secret voice. The imperishable burn through matter's screen, making this mortal body Godhead's robe. Wow, such a statement. It's more than a promise, it's an assurance that this strength of the supermind that now visits us shall become our comrade power, and the ineffable shall find a secret voice. Sri Aurobindo speaks a lot about the ineffable, and I'm not sure that I've read it to you. Could I ask someone to read it? Because it's very important. Someone?
I could read, but I would need a moment to find it.
Okay, take your time. It begins with, it is this essential indeterminability.
Yeah, I found it. Mhm. It is this essential indeterminability of the absolute that translates itself into our consciousness through the fundamental negating positives of our spiritual experience. The immobile, immutable self, Nirguna Brahman, the eternal without qualities, the pure featureless, one existence, the impersonal, the silence void of activities, the non-being, the ineffable and the unknowable. On the other side, it is the essence and source of all determinations, and this dynamic essentiality manifests to us through the fundamental affirming positives in which the absolute equally meets us. For it is the self that becomes all things, the Saguna Brahman, the eternal with infinite qualities, the one who is the many, the infinite person, who is source and foundation of all persons and personalities, the Lord of creation, the world, the master of all works in action. It is that which, being known all,
No, you have it. All is known.
all is known. These affirmatives correspond to those negatives, for it is not possible in a supramental cognition to split asunder the two sides of the one existence. Even to speak of them as sides is excessive, for they are in each other. Their coexistence or one existence is eternal, and their powers sustaining each other found the self-manifestation of the infinite from the light divine.
Well, it's a very long statement, but we can easily understand it if we can understand the difference in the Nirguna and the Saguna Brahman. So this one existence, this ineffable, this unknowable, is on we can say in one aspect, it is, how shall we put it? It is impersonal, and it's the silence, it's the non-being, the unknowable. But on the other side is the Saguna Brahman, the eternal with these infinite qualities, and he is the Lord of all creation. He is the Word. He is the master of all works and action. It becomes very, very personal. It is that which being known, all is known. And these affirmatives correspond to those negatives. This Saguna corresponds to the Nirguna. For the Lord is everything. He can be evil. He can have hate. He can be vast, and he can be as tiny as a grain of sand. He is the divine. And so in our consciousness, we're constantly splitting things, making these dualities. But and that's even true of the overmind consciousness. But when we reach the supermind consciousness, everything is united. There are no dualities. There are no contradictions. So please continue, and we'll complete the next few things.
Ishvara is Brahman, the reality, the self, spirit revealed as possessor, enjoyer of his own self-existence, creator of the universe and one with it, pantheos, and yet superior to it, the eternal, the infinite, the ineffable, the divine transcendence from the life divine.
Next.
The absolute is for us the ineffable from life divine. A transcendent bliss, unimaginable and inexpressible by the mind and speech, is the nature of the ineffable. That broods immanent and secret in the whole universe, and in everything in the universe. Its presence is described as a secret, secret ether of the bliss of being, of which the scripture says that if this were not, none could for a moment breathe or live. And this spiritual bliss is here also in our hearts, from the synthesis of yoga.
How beautiful. That it is immanent and secret in the whole universe and everything in the universe. And yet it is also here in our hearts. Wow. So the strength that visits us becomes our comrade power. The ineffable shall find a secret voice. The imperishable burn through matter's screen, making this mortal body Godhead's robe. And I'm not sure that we've done Godhead, because there are a lot of things here. So if anyone could read Godhead, or Natalie, if you could continue.
Yeah, I think I found it. All right. The Godhead is all that is universe, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
But the Godhead is all that is universe, and all that is in the universe, and all that is more than the universe. The Gita lays stress first on his supracosmic existence, for otherwise the mind would miss its highest goal and remain turned towards the cosmic only, or else attached to some partial experience of the divine in the cosmos. It lays stress next on his universal existence, in which all moves and acts. For that is the justification of the cosmic effort, and this is the vast spiritual self-awareness in which the Godhead, self-seen as the time spirit, does his universal works. Next, it insists with a certain austere emphasis on the acceptance of the Godhead as the divine inhabitant in the human body. For he is the immanent in all existences, and if the indwelling divinity is not recognized, not only will the divine meaning of individual existence be missed, the urge to our supreme spiritual possibility deprived of its greatest force, but the relations of soul with soul in humanity will be left petty, limited, and egoistic. Finally, it insists at great length on the divine manifestation in all things in the universe, and affirms the derivation of all that is from the nature, power, and light of the one Godhead.
So this essay on the Gita is so very, very clear that the Gita lays stress first on this supracosmic existence of the divine. Because unless we had that, we might miss this highest goal, because we would turn only to the cosmic aspect of the divine, which is a partial experience of the divine in the cosmos. Then it lays stress on his universal existence, in which everything moves and acts. And that is the justification of the cosmic effort. And that is the vast spiritual self-awareness, in which the Godhead, self-seen as the time spirit, does his universal works. And then thirdly, it insists with a certain austere emphasis on the acceptance of the Godhead as the divine inhabitant in the human body. So powerful, for he is the immanent in all existences. And if the indwelling divinity that is in us is not recognized, not only will this divine meaning of our individual existence be missed, but also the urge to our supreme spiritual possibilities will be deprived of its greatest force, because the relations of soul with soul in humanity will be left petty, limited, and egoistic. And then the Gita insists at great length on this divine manifestation in everything in the universe. And it affirms the derivation of all that is from nature, power, and light of the one Godhead. So powerful. And we'll continue with the last two, and perhaps, Vladimir, you could add some things from the Vedas. Please continue, Natalie.
The Godhead is one in his transcendence, one all-supporting self of things, one in the unity of his cosmic nature. These three are one Godhead. All derives from him. All becomes from his being. All is eternal portion or temporal expression of the eternal, from Essence on the Gita.
And the last one.
This Godhead is one in all things that are, the Self who lives in all, and the Self in whom all live and move. Therefore, man has to discover his spiritual unity with all creatures, to see all in the Self and the Self in all beings. Even to see all things and creatures as himself. Atmapamyena sarvatra. I'm sorry. And accordingly think, feel, and act in all his mind, will, and living. This Godhead is the origin of all that is here or elsewhere, and by his nature, he has become all these innumerable existences, Abhut Sarvani Bhutani. Therefore, man has to see and adore the one in all things, animate and inanimate, to worship the manifestation in sun and star and flower, in man and every living creature, in the forms and forces, qualities and powers of nature. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, from Essence of the Gita.
Thank you. It is so important, isn't it, that we have to discover him in all creatures, to see this self, this soul, in everything, in all beings, and even to see all things as creatures of the divine, and accordingly think, feel, and act in all his mind, will, and living. This Godhead is the origin of all that is here or elsewhere, and by his nature, He has become all these innumerable existences. Therefore, we have to adore him in all things, and this is very important, animate and inanimate. And then to worship the manifestation in sun and star and flower, in man and every living creature, in the forms and forces, qualities and powers of nature. Vladimir.
There is not much to say here.
Yeah, I know.
Everything is covered actually here. So, of course,
Yeah,
it's Vedic vision. Of course, it is.
Yes,
It is there and it is here, and this vision of the individual as carrier of the supreme is something Sri Aurobindo makes emphasis on in his yoga. It all goes through individual in a way, and that's why psychic being becomes so important and prominent, because within the, as Gita says, within the psychic, within the heart of man, I dwell, says the Supreme.
yes,
And this supreme universal or transcendental becomes supreme individual is the meaning of integral yoga. To become the
yes,
supreme individual, which may be easily misunderstood by ego and so on, and by the Superman of Nietzsche, but it is not
yes.
this. It's something much higher and of a different kind.
And of course, the one most important thing that we also have to remember is that all other yogas did not remember the earth. It is said that Buddha, when he was leaving, he did turn to look back at the earth with compassion, that Christ would come back to the earth in the second coming. But the transformation of the earth into a divine life was never considered in any of the old yogas or Buddhism or any of the other religions. It's always an escape or into a nirvana or a heavenly existence, leaving the earth behind. But Sri Aurobindo says the earth is extremely important. It's sacred, so sacred that it is a living being. And he told one of his disciples, Dilip Kumar Roy, that it is only taken form as the world, but it is a living being. And we have to remember also that all the characters in Savitri are also living beings or emanations through which we can contact, identify with them, receive their help. So I thank you all. I think our time is up, and we'll meet again next week.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste. I'm seeing that we have less people every week, but very devoted ones. Eugen, it's nice to have you back.
Yeah, I'm happy to be there.
Good. And Jayashri, also good to see you. And Betty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your reading, Natalie. Namaste.
Namaste.